What are you doing, boss?
Just having a nice coffee to start the morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's your morning over there.
Yeah, how's Nashville?
It's good. I came out to my coach. Can you see me okay? Or
Yeah,
do I
yeah.
need to put more lights on?
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm sitting in my motorhome because my dogs tend to be a little yappy.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
just so let me see. Can I do this or this?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get this
Well,
set up so I don't have to. There you go.
thank you so much for talking to the Rockpit again today, John. It's always a always.
No, it's all good, buddy. Wait till you get the invoice. This is going to be a bitch.
It's always good to speak to you, and yeah, great to see
I,
you
I,
fit and healthy.
obviously, you don't have cable TV down there in Australia. If it's always good to talk to me, I'm obviously not doing something right.
No, no, it's good. It's good. Last time we actually caught up, of course, we had fish and chips.
The what now?
We had last time we caught up, we had fish and chips.
Oh shit! How long ago was that?
That was a while ago. That was just the solo tour, was the book tour that you did
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
down in
So
Australia. So a lot's
yeah,
happened since then. We were talking about you not being in the Dead Daisies last time we spoke, and now you're back again.
obviously, I'm a liar to the fifth degree.
Made a lot of people happy, I think. I mean, there was that brief sojourn with Glenn, but I think the majority of people that I talk to are just so happy to see you back again.
Yeah,
And
it's good, dude. Honestly, like I'm just trying to find something that I can prop this up against. It keeps sliding on this table. Um, you know what? It was weird. Like, um, the whole time I was out of the band, I was still kind of in contact with everybody anyway. Um, at one point, I even went up and rehearsed with them in New York. They were getting ready to do a tour with Glenn, and he couldn't do it. He was sick or something, and he couldn't do the rehearsals. So I went up and I kind of sang with him for like a week, and um, you know I David's always sending me funny memes and back and forth jokes about being married, and um, I was in constant contact with Doug and Dean and Marco, like everybody in the band, even even the management guys when I was down there in Sydney. Um, I contacted everybody and said, "Hey, I'm going to be playing in Sydney, Melbourne." I gave them the list of dates, and unfortunately, they were all out of town.
yeah,
But so when I David called me, we had dinner here in Nashville. And when I went back, it was first rehearsal. It was like we immediately started cutting up and razzing each other. So it was kind of like I never left. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well,
So
since I mean, the weird thing for me is that a lot's happened since we last spoke. Light 'Em Up came out for a start,
mhm.
reintroduction of the band. Best of came out, and one of the things I look back on our very first interview, and one of the things we talked about then was a blues album, and now we get a Dead Daisies blues album, which I've been listening to for the last couple of days, and it's great. It's different to what I expected. It's a rock and roll take, I guess, on the blues, but not in the obvious way. The you play around with the songs a lot, which just works for me.
You know what's funny though? Like and I've been saying this all along. Like I know we're probably gonna get you know because there's those blues
Yeah,
purists
yeah. I
that
love
are gonna
it.
be like, you know, fucking hell, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like this, you know, that's not how Crossroads goes, or you know what I mean? But in all honesty, like we kind of talked about it when we were, tracking the songs. Like we kind of had this. It was almost a joke, but it was, serious. Like we'd sit there and kid around and go, "What would Zeppelin do?"
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, like, if you listen to, songs like "How Many More Times" or, um, God, what else did they? Or "When the Levee Breaks," which is, if you heard the original cover or the original song that they covered for the, Zeppelin 4 record, it's like night and day. It doesn't even sound like the original recording. Um, and then you listen to their version of "In My Time of Dying," and you know what I mean? It was just, they just had this knack of being able to interpret the song, uh, with authority and power.
yeah,
And you know what I mean? Not that we're in the same league as Led Zeppelin. I'm not saying that, but it was just like that uh we tried to put that hat on when we were doing the songs.
yeah,
And it didn't seem like much of a point for us to, for example, Crossroads, we could have done the Cream version,
yeah.
or we could have done, the Leonard Skinner version, which are both brilliant, but it's like it's been done already. So, how can we do this and make it our own? And Marty was really big on that. He goes, if you guys are going to do this, man, you got to own the shit and make it like your version of these songs.
Yeah. And that's
So,
exactly what he's done. I mean, I listened to it. I think my favorite of them all is the Thrill Is Gone, BB King. That I love your vocal on that. That just works for me completely. But
okay, well, I'm glad to hear that, because that's one of the songs that it's not that I don't like it,
yeah,
but like I kind of feel like the thrill is gone, and even what's the other one? Little Red Rooster.
oh, okay, that's
I
what.
was like, man, if I would have just maybe had a little more time with this, I could have figured out something cooler to do vocally. Um, and it was, the problem of it is we went to Muscle Shoals. We were only there for a limited amount of time,
Mm,
and we were kind of doing two things at once. We were like writing and preparing stuff for the Light 'em Up record, and then at night we'd like just kind of like start laying stuff down and jamming. So a lot of the stuff that you hear on the blues record is just recordings right off the floor.
yeah, yeah,
um it was just a bunch of old drunk guys, and maybe a little cheer in them, um just kind of doing their thing. But so there's, but it's funny now. My wife listens to "The Thrill Is Gone" and she says the same thing. She goes, "No, man, you sound great on that."
yeah.
But I still, like, I hear it and I go, I could have done this or could have done that, or maybe I repeated myself one too many times. But it is what it is.
No, it works for me. I mean, I love Going Down's fantastic. Freddie King number, Born Under a Bad Sign. I love that version of that. Of
Yeah,
the
it's
Albert King number.
yeah.
Probably one of my favorite versions of that song I've heard. But I love that you didn't do the obvious with Walking the Dog, because obviously Aerosmith, we're big Aerosmith fans. It would have been so easy to sort of do that version. But the more I listen to that one, the
Again,
more I like that
a-
one.
again though, you know what's funny? Like a lot of these songs, Mark, we were just like, we're like, uh, yeah, we're none of us are like blues
Yeah,
aficionados, you know what I mean? But it's just these are songs that we grew up listening to by like going down. It's,
yeah,
obviously Jeff
fun.
Beck, Rod
Yeah,
Stewart, or not Rod Stewart, just Jeff Beck. Walking the Dog, Aerosmith, Black Betty, Ram Jam. So we kind of got turned on to the blues, even though it's an American form of music. It was kind of like it had to go overseas to England and have the British guys get a hold of it and bastardize it their way and send it back over for us to kind of go, oh, what's this blues stuff that they're playing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um, but again, we didn't want to do the versions of our heroes, Aerosmith or Cream or Skinner or whatever the song is. You know what I mean? We wanted to do something completely different.
And I think that's the very reason that it works so well. It's like everyone knows the songs, and and that I think is an important part to it. Um, Everyone knows the songs, and then all of a sudden they hear a version that they're not accustomed to, one that they haven't grown up with, one that's given
Uh-huh.
them a slam. And most bands are too scared to do stuff like that. But like you say, if it was just some drunk old guys in a room, why not?
Yeah, and it's again, we just we had fun. It was great. I think it was so weird. Like again, the band works really fast, but I mean, we did this blues record and light 'em up. We did two records in 29 days, so it was pretty, it was pretty quick, the whole process. But um, it was great, man. So far everybody that's heard it, all the press that I've been doing, everybody's had a copy of it. They've had a chance to listen to it, live with it, digest it a little bit, and the feedback we're getting, I'm surprised. It's been really good. Um, I was a little concerned considering what would Zeppelin do was our motto. Even Led Zeppelin when they came out, a lot of people slagged the shit out of
Oh,
them
absolutely.
for bastardizing these songs as much as they did.
Mm.
Um, you know, but so far that everything's been pretty positive.
Yeah, well, you'll always get the naysayers and stuff like that, and I know that the blues purists are going to say what they're going to say, but at the end of the day, it's all rock and roll, and it's a fantastic album.
That's
Light,
cool, man. Thank you.
Light 'Em Up was one of our top five of last year. We didn't really, I don't think we got a chance to talk about that, but one of the things I always love is about the Dead Daisies is that you don't go for the obvious covers. So on that album, um, one of my favorite Australian bands, the Angels. Um, you don't often hear a good cover of an Angels song. I think Great White back in the day were probably the only band that managed to cover a couple of Angels songs really well. But Take a Long Line. Were you familiar with that song?
Not at all.
No?
And it's so funny. So we did the song and we had to kind of rework it to make it fit my voice. So we changed the key and you know did all this stuff. David's the one that brought it to the band. He goes, man, I like. I guess apparently he was either in. I know he was in a band with Doc Neeson,
Yeah.
but I think he was in a. It was either a different band, but I know he was in for a minute. He was in like a version of the Angels as well. Um, and so he was talking about this song and he played it for us. And I'm like, man, this fucking song's great, but I never even heard of it. And so, we got the lyrics and we worked it up and recorded it. And we literally just finished the record. And I came home and there's a movie now that's been playing nonstop on cable TV here. Um, and I want to say it's called Crocodile Island.
Okay.
It's about a bunch of people on a boat, and they're basically in Australia, and they're in these like back rivers, I guess up north, and they're on a crocodile sightseeing tour, and they get trapped on a sandbar, and they can't get off. And there's just like a 25-foot, or I don't know how many meters it would be, but there's like a 25-foot man-eating crocodile that's just terrorizing them. And at one point, these two guys come around this band on a little motorboat, and they're playing the Angels Take a Long Line, just cranked on this radio. And I was just saying to my wife, I go, oh, shit, that's the fucking song we recorded. And okay, great. And then we saw like another movie like 2 days later, and it also had Take a Long Line in it.
It's
And it
following
was like, yeah, so we were laughing about it. I go, I fucking never heard of this song once in my life. And now I've heard it 3 times in a week since we finished this record. So, but that's another one, man. It's funny, like, uh, America was kind of like, is this an original
yeah.
or like, what is this? But playing it in Europe, uh, everybody's singing along with it. So obviously the Angels were very popular in Europe. Not so much here in America, but you know, there you have it.
Yeah, it's good. I always used to talk to Jack Russell about the Angels. He was a massive fan, and I often talk to John Brewster, the writer of that particular song as well. So
Mhm.
I'll check out next time I talk to him, see if he's heard your version, and see what he
Yeah,
thinks.
play it for him. I'm curious. It's funny because when we did Midnight Moses,
Yeah,
somebody sent
oh, it's
uh
heavy.
the guitar player Zal
Oh, was out. Yeah,
from
yeah.
Sensational Alex Harvey, and he sent me a message, and he goes, "Well done, lad. Very cheeky." So I was like, "All right, cool. I'll just take it from there," because I've heard that Chris because I know Chris really well,
Yeah.
and Chris Glenn, and he was like, "Yeah, Zal's not real big on talking or whatever." So the fact that he just messaged me was pretty awesome. So I'll take that as a thumbs up.
That's fantastic. You've had some movements in the band as well. A new bassist at the moment.
Well, yeah, Marco. I don't know exactly what happened because I left the band,
Hmm.
and then Marco left. I don't know, maybe 5 6 months later. Um, and when I came back, uh, I guess there was something I don't really know. There was something with Marco's schedule solo. He was doing Marco, dude. He would literally do 5 shows a day if he could. So there was something with his schedule, and he couldn't come back. So um, they had already talked with Michael Devin from Whitesnake
Yeah.
and brought him back. First tour we did was with Brian, and then Brian wound up doing some stuff with Gene Simmons, and he wasn't able to actually. He didn't play on the Light 'Em Up record or the Blues record, so we wound up bringing Tommy Clufettos back again.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's always been very fluid, the band anyway. One of the things people were asking me when I said I was going to talk to you today were like, no one's heard the Blues album, sort of outside a bit of press and obviously the band and management. Were there any more recorded? Any more songs that didn't make it
I
here?
mean, we were thinking about it, but again, we didn't have a lot of time, like I said earlier. Um, I think we were only in Muscle Shoals for 9 days. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So it was really kind of about, um, and again, it was a bucket list thing. We had all wanted to record there at Fame Studios. Um, but at the same time, we're like, okay, let's do this blues record. We just started jamming at night, and Marty was like, hey, dude, this stuff sounds pretty good. Let's do a blues record too. And So we knocked that out, and then we went back up to Marty's place to finish Light 'Em Up. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of time to knock this out, so um,
No
I
bonus.
forget what I forget what. Oh, so like you said, a lot of people. What was the question?
Oh no, it's just people were wondering if there were more like going to be some bonus tracks or you did anything else.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think um, there was one other song, but it was funny how it worked out. We actually tried to do a stab at uh, another Robert Johnson song called Terraplane Blues.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
And we were doing like a really odd version of it. And so we wound up doing, we actually got all the songs together and we had that music for Terraplane Blues together. And what we did was, I mean, we had rewritten it to the point where it was unrecognizable. Um, so we basically carried that over when we got back to Nashville and we finished up uh, the Light 'Em Up record. Terraplane Blues actually morphed into what became Take My Soul
Oh, okay, yeah,
on the Light 'Em Up record,
cool. That's
which
great.
is hence it's got all these chains and the story. It kind of goes hand in hand with what we did on the blues record as well. You know what I mean?
It's pretty busy time coming up for you as well. I mean, you've already done Europe and you're off back again in June, so not too much time off. And then over to the UK in August. Any plans past that? I always ask everyone when I talk to them, will we ever see you in Australia again?
You know, and it's crazy. We were talking about it. I said something to our manager David Edwards a couple days ago, right before we left to come home, and I was like, dude, seriously, all right, Australia's already pissed because this started out as an Australian band. Then the Americans came in and pissed all over it and took over as we do. And I said, now we don't even go to Australia. Come on, like what's going on? When are we going? And I understand from a management point of view, it's really hard to get all of our crew guys, all of the band guys, uh, you know, and get everybody to Australia to really do what, 5 shows,
Yeah.
6 shows, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Uh, so I know that they've been talking with a promoter in Australia to bring the band. Hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but hopefully it will happen this year.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I mean, we had some great times over in Australia. There was the Kiss tour. That was fantastic. I guess something like that could come around again. And then there was that fantastic show at the motorcycle place as well that we
Frazier,
got
yeah,
down to. That was pretty cool. So
yeah, Frazier, Harley Davidson. How could I forget?
that's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Very different version of the band there, and incidentally, it's funny because a couple of days ago I saw your predecessor in the band, John Stevens. He was over here with Noiseworks, so
If
it's
you see John, will you please tell him I said hello? Like him and I communicated a little bit because again, you know, I had never heard of John Stevens prior to the Dead Daisies.
yeah.
I had no idea who he was. And when I first heard uh, his voice, I'm like, fuck, this guy's insane, dude. The
Yeah.
guy could literally sing a phone book and it would be amazing.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, both you and he are like a couple of my favorite vocalists out there. Ironically, he's been recording his new studio album. Guess where?
where?
Nashville.
Oh, is he here now?
No, I think he's in New York at the moment, or is just about to get there to finish up a couple of tracks. But About
Okay.
months ago, I think he was over there doing some tracks for the new album.
I'll
So
have to I'll have to shoot him a message on Instagram. I would love to just sit down and have a coffee with him. I've never met him before,
yeah,
and we have this kind of history together. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
fuck, what a brilliant vocalist.
he's
And he's a
absolutely,
great songwriter, great vocalist. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely lovely guy as well. You get on great. He's a well, he's an Aussie legend. Yeah, it's
That's what I want to be. I want to be a legend of the outback.
well, you
You
know,
know,
come over again and we'll
it,
get and do some crocodile
I
hunting for you.
I know my wife's been over there a few times,
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, you got to go to, I guess, there's a Kangaroo Island, and you got to go up into, where the crocodiles are." And she went with a bunch of girls, and they literally went out. She's like, "Yeah, we were out, and these guys, they took them out on a almost like a safari kind of a thing, and they were sleeping in tents." And she goes, "Man, we had a great time." And and then they went to Sydney, and they were partying in Sydney, and they wanted to do the walk over the bridge, but
no,
unfortunately they were all hungover from the night before, so they wouldn't let them do it. But um, yeah, I'm like, listen, if Tom Selleck can come over and do Quigley Down Under, I need to I want to be the king of the outback.
yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see you over again. The yeah, what else do we have? I've got some more people wrote in with all kinds of questions, knowing that I think people love it when we get to chat with John Corabi. It's certainly one of the most visited interviews on the website over the years. Um, Someone said it's can you believe it's been 15 years since Infestation by Rat?
What's funny? I guess I had my fingers in that record,
Yeah.
but it was only because I had written some songs with Bobby Blotzer prior, and that was a weird time, man. It was funny. Like, I was in the band, we got the record deal,
Mm.
and then I went home and thought about it for a day or two, and I was like, I'm out. I quit. And they were like, "Dude, what are you talk? We just got a record deal." I go, "Yeah, I can't get through a rehearsal with you guys. You guys argue so much at rehearsal. I can't imagine going to North Carolina, living in a house for 3 months, and trying to write and record a record. That doesn't sound like fun to me at all." So I kind of left the band in '08, but um, I guess I have a song on the record that Bobby and I had worked on, and then Steven redid the lyrics or whatever, but they gave me a writing credit. Um, I, if the Australians don't know, I'm very happy. I just sent Steven a message last night, Piercy,
Mm.
because he's been doing Stephen Piercy's Rat,
Yeah. Yeah.
and apparently um, he convinced Warren to actually leave his house and come out and do some shows with him. So hopefully this will lead to bigger and better things for both Warren and Steven.
Well, let's hope so. There's all kinds of connections going on as well. I mean, last week I was talking to Reb Beach from Winger, who are coming over to do their farewell tour to Australia, and of course he played or filled in some dates with the Dead Daisies as well.
Yeah, he did last year when we found out about Doug's little health scare.
Yeah.
Um, Doug had obviously worked with Reb, and Michael had worked with Reb in Whitesnake. Um, and oddly enough, Reb was already going to be in Europe. So they just sent him a tape, and he finished. I think he was doing guitar clinics or something. And Doug was like, "Hey, man, I got to have this surgery. Can you fill in for me on these dates?" And Reb was like, "Yeah, dude, awesome." So we had a great time. Reb's a character.
He's
Um,
brilliant, isn't
yeah, he's a great dude. He's funnier than shit. Um, so he came in, he filled in for Doug and did a hell of a job. And but we're happy Doug's healthy.
Mm.
He's looks great, feels great, and we just went out and did a bunch of dates with him, and he was kicking ass. So it's
That's
all good.
fantastic. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic news. And of course, with the 6 degrees of separation, last time Winger came with the band to Australia, you were on sharing the stage with them as well with Rat.
Yes, it was. That was a great tour. A lot of fun. We did Japan and Australia with
Mm.
those guys, and we had a fucking blast. It was killer. And then it's funny. So I just did the run with Reb, and but Kip comes here. My wife is a hairdresser, so Kip is comes to my house like once a month, once every 2 months, gets his hair trimmed up. Um, and then we'll sit and bullshit for a minute or two. And I just sent him a message as well. He's got one of his, he did a violin
Yeah,
concerto.
that's start of May, isn't it? He's got the premiere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here in Nashville with the Nashville Symphony Orchestra. So I sent him some congratulations. And you know what, dude? It's the music business is a massive, massive business, but it's really very small and incestual at the
Yeah.
same time. You
Yeah,
know what
it
I mean?
is. It is. And it's wonderful for me when I get to talk to so many people, just seeing all these little connections all over the place. I only talked to Kip last week about the Australian tour as well. And then I spoke to Reb, and they're chalk and cheese. They're such different guys.
Yeah.
Reb's such fun. He said, "Oh, I'll come back for a beer after the show when we play." And Kip probably be I don't know, down the gym or writing some pieces for his next bit of music. But yeah, it's great to see you in great form and enjoying a bit of time off. We'd love to play. I know that the next single that comes out is uh, out shortly. Boom Boom, isn't it? I think
I
in
believe,
April.
I
Yeah.
believe, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so I'd love you to do just an intro for that so we can play that if we could do that. But before that, someone just pointed out on the live chat that's coming through that it's actually 10 years since your first album, The Dead Daisies, as well, Revolution.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
No, well, I took that little, COVID break for
Mm.
a minute. Um, but yeah, 10 years, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Um, and I was just sitting there looking. It's funny. My manager asked me a couple days ago. We were bullshitting about some. I just signed another deal to do another solo record,
Yeah, cool.
and so we were talking about it, and we were reminiscing and recapping, and it's funny. Like we were kind of going through this list of how many records I've done, and
It's a lot.
I know, dude. I was just sitting there going, fuck. Like I was looking at the records I did just with the Daisies since 15,
Yeah.
and it's like Revolution, Make Some Noise, Live and Louder, Burn It Down. Then when I left, they did Locked and Loaded, uh, and then now Light 'Em Up and Looking for Trouble.
Mm.
7 records in 10 years, not too bad.
Yeah. It's
But
pretty,
I was counting all the records I did, and once I put this solo record out, it'll literally be 20 records that I've
yeah.
done since the start of my career. It's weird.
It's a great body of work as well. I mean, everything from the Scream onwards. Maybe one day we'll get the Angora demos as well out there.
Yeah, they're out there somewhere, but And again, in hindsight, there's a few, like there's a couple live records, whatever, um, and then the ESP thing, which was basically covers. The blues record is covers, so it's not like I wrote all these songs. But if you take all those away, it's still, 15, 16 original records that I've done, you know what I mean? So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Some kid from Philadelphia, I thought maybe I had a record or two in me, you know, but and then, maybe drop dead of a fentanyl overdose. But here I am still 40 years later, still ticking like the Energizer Bunny, so it's all good.
Still going, still making people happy. Plenty of people sort of commenting on
Well, I don't know if I'm making them happy, but
oh.
I'm giving them some sort of an emotion.
I mean, the best thing for me about doing this is I get to speak to the people who make the music that I love. So, and you've always done that from that first time I saw the Scream many, many, many moons ago to this latest blues album. It's all good. Great to talk to
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much, my friend. Always great to catch up. Pleasure to
I've done
talk to
this
you.
once or twice before, my friend.
We have. I think we've now clocked up, I think that's 14 over the years. Over 15 years of us going. No, 16 this year.
Wow.
14. A few in person, which we did the one years ago with you and Marco at the Hilton in Perth when you were
Oh,
over 2 years
yes.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
The
always,
home, the land of the land of my little ginger ninja crush, uh, Isla Fisher.
yes.
Yeah,
Indeed, yeah. She hails from these parts. That's right. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
She's a sweetheart.
Thank you so much, mate. It's been a pleasure as always, and hopefully we will get to see you very shortly.
I hope so.
Take care, my friend.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Have a great evening. See
You
you.
too. Bye
Bye.
bye.